I decided to write this book after my mother died. I was looking through her belongings, and I came across some old scrapbooks, newspaper articles, and I found out there were many famous people who lived on Division Street. Really famous. Hall of Fame boxers, great musicians, Pulitzer Prize winning authors. And so I decided I want to write a book and I want to pay tribute to them. And then I said, you know, I grew up with great guys like Freddie and other guys. And let me tell you a profile about some of the guys I grew up with. One guy had no father. Grew up with his mother. They were poor. They lived in a one-bedroom apartment. His mother worked in a factory, minimum wage. They were so poor, they took in boarders, and the boarders slept in the living room. This guy's a millionaire now. Hard work, no drugs, no parties, no craziness. Another guy, no father. Grew up with his mother and his sister. They lived in a tiny apartment. He became a famous CPA, certified public accountant. He has had among his clients the governor of New York and the mayor of Chicago. Another guy, he was an orphan at 16. These are all my buddies. We've been friends, by the way, for 60 years. I come here, you know, I live in Los Angeles, but I have a condominium now in Chicago. And I come here every 2 months, and you know the first thing I do? I drive down my old neighborhood. Because you can't forget, right? And I see my friends, we get together. So this guy was an orphan at the age of 16. He's a famous lawyer. He's in super lawyers. Only 2% of the lawyers in the United States are in this prestigious group. They are nominated by their peers. Another guy, a very close friend of Freddie's, lived above a candy store. How many of you have seen the documentary Hoop Dreams? He did it. He was a poor kid. He was a poor kid. He was a producer. All these guys came from nothing, no money, and look what they did with their life. You know why? They refused to be losers. They refused to quit. So I wrote the book. I wrote the book the old-fashioned way. What happened is I told my wife, I said, you know, I'm getting older, I want to write this stuff down. I hope I can motivate young kids who think that they can't do it. Because, you know, when I was sitting where you were sitting, if someone were to tell me, you could be a lawyer, I'd say you're crazy. I'd say it's not possible. I thought to be a lawyer, you got to be a genius. And my father is the one who made me believe that I'm as good as anybody else. So don't ever believe that anyone else is better than you because they have money. You can do anything you want because we live in a wonderful country. But you cannot put obstacles in your way. You cannot have drugs. And don't hang with losers. Don't hang with losers. If some people want to bring you down, they want to bring you into drugs, do bad things, find a new friend. So when you reach my age, you learn a lot, you have a lot of wisdom, and that's the reason I decided to write the book. And my book, by the way, when I wrote it, I didn't think I'd sell 10 copies. My book took off. I have a wonderful publicist here. And I am going to be on television tomorrow on Channel 9, WGN TV, 11 a.m. Last June I was on Channel 4, The Talk, it was called. I'm speaking all over the city of Chicago to send my message. But what's most important to me is people like you. Because I never had anyone talk to me like that. I never had anyone talk to me and say, you could be a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you could do whatever you want. So when I was coming up, I didn't like school, and I just decided, adios. Any other questions? Don't be shy. Ask questions. Dorothy?
I'll ask a question. What do you think students and teachers and administrators should get out of your presentation? What hope, you know, if they have questions, or do you have any advice for them as far as if there's problems? In other words, if they're having a problem in school, or if the teacher's having a problem with a student or an administrator, do you give them any advice?
Well, I know one thing. I can tell you got wonderful teachers here because I've met a lot of them. So number one, you're going to have to listen to them. In my day, if we badmouth the teacher, guess what? It's over. So when your teachers tell you something, they do it for your own good. Listen to them, and if you do the right thing, if you study, and you don't mess around, no teacher's going to bother you. They're going to love you because you make them look good. Teachers want to look good. Teachers want to go and say to the principal, hey, look, little Johnny, you got an A in the class. So do it. You come home from school, pass on the TV. Forget it. Sit down,